Can you hear me?
Hey, what up? Yeah, I can.
Tim, it's nice to meet you.
Larry or Lawrence?
I'm Larry. Larry, yeah.
Oh, cool. What up, Larry?
I'm good. Everything's good. Well, more.
Can't see you. Do you have a
Hang on.
okay?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There we go.
All
All
right,
right.
dude. Freaking a. I love this the single,
Do you?
dude. Let's just start there. That um, the single is amazing. Uh,
Well, thank you. I can only take partial credit for it, but I don't know what to say when people say nice stuff about the music, but I don't write the music. I write the lyrics and the melody, and on the rest of the stuff, I go love it, hate it. You know what I mean? I can't play an instrument, so
Me and you're very similar. Can't
do
play
you
shit.
write too? Do you write as well?
No, no. I just can't play instrument.
Oh, okay. Well, like most people in the world, we
Yeah.
can't play instruments. Yeah.
Um. There it is. I'm I there's I'm a I love 80s, right? I love the 80s. I love the music. I love synth, even modern synth, modern music. The Arena, Joey Arena. He has an amazing uh, new project going. Dayglow. He's been just tearing it up, and now I found this your guys's Since You've Been Gone and High Playing Drifters. Um, Talk to me through your. Let's talk about this song. How did it? I have. It was hard for me to find other songs of your guys's.
Well, we're pretty obscure, so that's not too surprising. We have a debut album out from 2 years ago. I'd be happy to send you the link to download that in MP3 form. Some of it's out there. You can find a few of the earlier singles on YouTube in video form, but stylistically, we deliberately took a different turn with this single and with the second album. So the debut album is fairly diverse in the genres that it crosses. There's a straight up pop punk song. There are a few rock ballads, some Americana-ish up tempo songs. But as we moved towards the end of that, there was a song that popped up, and I said to the producer that I wanted this one to be a little more pop, a little more 80s influenced. And when I didn't get what I wanted, I went to a buddy of mine, Greg Cohen, who's the producer now and who produced the single you heard, and we recut that track. And it's not the one you're listening to, but it's not all that different in terms of the use of synths and the instrumentation and a lot of other things. And we kept it off the debut album. We held it back for this record. It's going to be on an EP that'll come out next month with Since You've Been Gone and 5 other tracks. So, yeah, I mean, look, all I knew was that the 80s are my favorite decade of music. Most of the guys in the band musically came of age in the 80s in one way or another. Greg, our producer, was in a band back in the 80s before he realized that his skills really lay in producing. And so I got together not too long after COVID hit, a few months after COVID hit. I was going crazy. Everyone was going crazy. And I decided rather than, keep quarantining, I should start on this second record. And Since You've Been Gone was one of the first 2 songs that Greg and I tackled in his home studio. And, the question of, it's always hard when you start a song, what direction does it go? But, we knew we didn't want to be quite as diverse or Americana-ish as on the first album. And the 80s seemed like a good place to go. I mean, it's like I met all my girlfriends in the 80s. It's like I got dumped by everybody in the 80s. I have a million experiences from the 80s to write about,
And you're very descriptive too. Wanna like I've been in that situation. Like
Everyone has, unless you married your high school sweetheart, man. And I know guys who did, in fact, I've got a buddy who, after 40 years of marriage, just this past year went through this. His wife like turned on him and said, "I'm not happy anymore," and she walked out the door. Yeah, I mean, you could have been married for 30 years or single for 20 some odd years like I was, and you've probably experienced something like this.
One of the lyrics you said, like, when you kiss a girl, that's when I kissed a girl, that's when I realized I love you. That one right there, like, I mean, I've been there. I've been there with this twin right in front of me.
I was there. I mean, this song is based in fact. This song grew out of an actual breakup between me and a girl that back in the 80s I thought would be my one and only. And it just didn't work out that way. Years later, she came to visit me in Manhattan. I was married. She was married. She visited me at the office. And one of her last parting lines before she split from the office, I was in the lobby, and one of my buddies was there, and he goes, I can't believe this guy was so stupid as to ever let a girl like you go. And her line was something like, yeah, well, he let me go, and then he basically kissed every girl north of the Statue of Liberty and south of Harlem. And she had a really good sense of humor. And I said, yeah, and I wanted to go, yeah, but I was looking for you. It's like none of those girls were you, and none of those kisses mattered. And at least for the first year or two after the breakup, every girl fell short and just made me miss her more.
It's funny, like when you're going through those kind of breakups, like when you're in a relationship, there's a part of you in your head like, once I'm single, I'm gonna fuck everything.
Are we allowed to say that on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like it doesn't happen, you know what I mean? Or you find the breakup happens and you're freaking lost inside this other person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, it only takes one of these kind of breakups, like the one this song talks about, for you to. I mean, you naturally become more protective of your heart after something like that. You harden your heart a little, and the next 5 or 10 girls that come along probably inevitably get shit on because you're pissed off at the one who broke up with you, and you're trying to get even with girls in general. And there were a couple of girls I met during that period where I was trying to get over this girl who I did not treat well. And I ran into one of them years later in a bar in Manhattan. I went over to her and apologized. I just flat out said, I was still getting over somebody when you and I met, and I did not treat you properly, and I regret that, and I'm sorry.
That's crazy, huh? Yeah, I've done that too. Like just
girls drive us crazy. That's what happens. So I mean, people ask me sometimes, where do the ideas for the songs come from? And it's like, just pick a girl who drove you crazy, and there's probably a song in there somewhere.
Yeah. High Plane Drifters, is that a Dirty Harry reference?
It was, yeah. I mean, it's less. I don't mean to evoke the Westerns or that movie in particular, although I'm a huge fan of Eastwood as an actor, and I love all the Westerns that he did. It's more. It speaks more to the fact that the guys in the band and we're not kids. We're like, we've been around for a while. We've got some dirt under our fingernails. I thought it was a good name for a band that aren't 20-year-old pop guys,
Yeah. What is name some other songs? I'll
tell you what you should go look for. Go on YouTube and look for High Plains Drifters, Jennifer Aniston.
I heard that song too.
I mean, that
I love that song too.
That's not stylistically too dissimilar from where Since You've Been Gone came out. It's a little more, it's a little dancier than, or I'm not sure. I'll send you, you know, we're a do-it-yourself band. We put out our own stuff. We produce it. We pay the mastering. Everything's us or me, mostly me. So you can't have a music video for everything, or you'll be bankrupt. Yeah. So unfortunately, there aren't as many videos out there as I'd like. But the Jennifer Aniston one's out there. The song that was picked as the first single off of the debut album, there's a video out for it. It's called Virginia. Very, very different video from the Jennifer Aniston one, and genre-wise, a very different song. I grew up in the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C., and it probably wasn't until college that I started listening to what people came to call Southern rock. Whether it was Leonard Skinner or Marshall Tucker or Firefall or some of the others. I grew up with classic rock and soul. Washington, D.C. radio was classic rock and soul when I was a kid. And then I was exposed to the Southern stuff later. And, you know, the Eagles were probably the biggest in, I mean, they weren't considered a Southern band, but that sound, the Eagles sound, was something that clearly got like buried deep in my brain, because I tend to write like that. And then I sit with Greg Cohen, our producer, and I go, okay, now let's take this like a little bit Eagle-ish storyteller approach to a song and make it something more modern. You know, like, what can you and the band do to make this not sound like a retread of an Eagles song? When the album comes out later in the fall, you can hear a ballad version of Since You've Been Gone that we also did.
Oh yeah.
Which same song, done as a slower tempo ballad. And I flatter myself to say this, but it really does sound like something the Eagles might have done. So.
Well, I love your voice. It's very, when I hear Since You've Been Gone, even on Jennifer Aniston, I'm not sure.
I didn't sing. That's not me. I didn't sing Jennifer.
Oh, you didn't sing that one?
I didn't sing it. I will. We're getting into the weeds here, but one of the funny things about how this project evolved was that when we started the debut album, I thought I would merely be a backup singer, that I'd write the stuff and help dictate what direction the various songs went, because sometimes I hear a song with very specific instrumentation and sometimes I don't. But one of my bandmates, one of the two guitarists, John Makem, was the guy who took the rough version of Jennifer Aniston that I presented to the band. And John worked out most of the arrangement for it. And he sang it, and he sang it beautifully. On the EP that's coming out, I've taken over the lead vocals on Jennifer Aniston. So when the EP comes out, we're re-releasing the Jennifer Aniston song. I'm the lead vocalist on that. But you didn't hear me on that. I sang 8 out of the 12 songs on the debut album.
Your voice is amazing. I love it. It makes me feel comfortable. Even to the point, like, I get nervous right before interviews.
Really?
I've done thousands of interviews, man. I've interviewed the biggest names and
then little guys like me.
And I was not, once I heard your song, I felt comfortable. Like, I have an interview after this. I'm fucking like, you know what I mean? I'm nervous about it. But I knew I was like, when I heard your song, I was like, we're going to vibe, man. And I just felt comfortable. Like, there's something comforting about your voice, and I love it. It makes me want more.
Considering I was told in elementary school that I couldn't sing in the church choir, that's high praise, and I'm really grateful to you. I mean, I've worked incredibly hard to learn to sing my own material. I didn't even fully appreciate how much you have to learn to sing something you wrote. I mean, you really have to, you know, there's so much. I'm still learning what my voice can do. And on that song, Greg Cohen, the producer, if you find some of the stuff on the debut album, right, most of them I'm singing as a bass baritone. And on since you've been gone, I'm a tenor, I believe. And I didn't think I could do that until Greg forced me to. He like said, you need to sing this song up here. And I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I surprised myself, and I did.
That's, I'm very happy to write about you guys, and it makes it a little more exciting.
Cool.
And my last question is, what does the next 8 months look like for High Plains Drifters?
We've lined up the next single to introduce the EP. And the reason we're jumping to an EP instead of waiting until the fall to just put out the full second album is that we've been lucky. This, even though we're still a 100% DIY, we produce everything, we pay for everything, we find the guys who do the videos, blah, blah, blah. We were lucky enough that last fall, Universal Music picked us up to distribute us. So we have a little more clout on the distribution side. We're not signed to them as a band. We're still indie as a band, but we have a little more clout in distribution. We're able to get into more channels. We've really lucked out with this guy, Lars, who's been doing the videos for us since last fall on what we're putting out now. And we've done just well enough with guys like you and at streaming and broadcast radio that people have said, we want to hear more music now. So I'll be in the studio tonight and 3 more nights this week because we've committed to have a 6-song EP out in June. We have 9 of the 12 songs done, but there are 3 that are really just rough demos. So 3 more songs over the course of the summer. Album comes out in the fall. Everyone takes a breather, reconvene after the holidays, start on the 3rd album. So that's the way I see it.
Well, you got a fan in me. It's very rarely do I find a band that leaves me wanting more. And you guys have seemed to do that, man. It's fucking
well, I'm really grateful to I'm older, so all of this is bizarre on some level to me. I waited decades to get the guts to pursue my passion for music, and I'm so lucky to have found the band that we all put. I started it with 2 of the guys, then our drummer, who was our engineer, brought in the bass player. It was like kind of magic how it all came together. They played beautifully together. They're all seasoned pros. They can all play anything. And it's been like the coolest part of my life to be at this age, part of a band that's good, who can take my sometimes very bare bones lyrics and melody and turn them into something like you heard. I want to make sure that I can get you the first album. I'm not going to ask you to give me your email address over the air like this.
It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, cool.
My email's out publicly. My email is Timothy.
Yep.
Last name is Amoroso, AMOROSO at yahoo.com.
At Yahoo. All right. I will shoot you a link, probably be a Dropbox link, and maybe links to a couple of the videos. I'll tell you which my favorite tunes are on I have some personal favorites on the debut album that didn't get a lot of radio play, but I still think they're the coolest songs on the record.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in cyberspace, and I'm definitely. We will, as an organization, we would love to help you guys out when the album comes out in the fall as well.
Well, EP in June, and our Nick, our PR guy who hooked this up.
Nick is awesome. Nick is my man.
Yep, he's been phenomenal. I've been, again, so lucky to have the guys backing me that back me. He's been amazing. Our marketing guy's been amazing. Yeah, Nick will reach out when the EP's ready. I think you'll be. If you like this song, I think you're gonna love the EP. The next song is similar in theme. It's called "The One That Got Away," so another guy missing girl song. But this one's just. It's not based on some heart-wrenching, crushing breakup that I had. This was just, a song about, losing a girl and kind of wondering where she is a few years later and taking a few little steps to go find out without stalking her. Without stalking.
On Facebook.
Yeah, I almost worked Facebook into Since You've Been Gone in the lyrics, but I said, no, that'll date it. You know, like any reference to Facebook is going to date it. And my daughter won't even use Facebook. So I probably don't want to mention Facebook in the lyrics. So.
My man. Hey, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your art for the world. And I will definitely see you.
Tim, I thank you for the opportunity and showing an unsigned band of older dudes some love. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well, it's good stuff, man. All right, buddy. Good luck with it. We'll see.
Thanks a lot. Good luck with your next interview.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.